Meet Maxim Talanov, a worldly-known scientist from Russia. He has been living in Serbia for 3 years, working at the Institute for Artificial Intelligence Research and Development on cutting-edge technology that could revolutionize the global AI industry. He shared what shocked him about Serbian food, how today's Russians in Serbia differ from the first wave of immigration, and how modern Serbia can take part in the AI space race. Enjoy!
Russia in Serbia. What main differences do you see after living for almost 3 years in Serbia?
First of all, when I came here, I was really surprised how integrated Serbia with Europe. There are a lot of banks and organizations and funding that comes from Europe. Serbia has really close connections with a lot of institutions, organizations in Europe, and Europe has influence over Serbia and so on. It's really integrated with Europe. That is really good. And progressive, according to my understanding. The other thing, that level of what we call digitalization is not that high that we had in Russia, but there are options for guys to do that. Chinese shop like Temu now is really popular because you can get some Chinese goods directly from China.
Yeah.
And it's becoming really popular here, possibly because of this deficit of digital services. I was surprised with the dynamics and the speed of how the market changed. When I came here, for example, you couldn't find black tea, but after half a year, or possibly even earlier, you can find sorts of black teas, selection of black teas in the shops. And because they understood that there is some demand. Yes, that's market force. I just saw that in front of my eyes. That was really surprising. I haven't expected that. This is a positive indication of how the market changes because of the different demand. That is absolutely interesting and what I haven't expected, and that actually positively characterize Serbian society that is dynamic and living creature. I think that's interesting period of the Serbian history. Well, it's interesting to observe and possibly sometimes be involved in that. So, for example, last year I took part in data science conference. That's one of the biggest and possibly biggest in Balkans. I see rising interests here in the country and in the region in data science, AI, and all these questions related. And I'm really thankful to my Serbian friends who helped me. So I think we're doing good stuff.
For me, one of the biggest cultural shocks was the openness of Serbs, how they're open to communicate with you.
Yeah, that's true. They're not that restricted. They're not that self-censored.
Do you like it personally, or it's for you?
Sure, yes.
Because you have this sign, I'm autistic.
Well, because I have this problem of socialization, that's the nature of my problems of socialization. I discovered that later after when I migrated to Serbia, and that put a lot of things in place. First year was, I guess, most difficult. But then when I got this understanding of me, myself, and how can I collaborate and how can I talk to people. And I got friends here and that are really close to me and helping me a lot. That made all the situation easy. But this is transition. Before that, I was traveling a lot all around Europe. I was in the US, in Japan, in China, but I haven't stayed for a long time. And I haven't run through this transition period. And now I understand, okay, in any country where I go, I have the transition period. That will be painful. You won't find the mechanisms or ways you expect to do the things. Because of this experience in Serbia, now I understand, okay, you have to run through the transition. And I'm more tolerant, and I understand this, as natural process. You have to adopt, and that's fine.
The main question of all the interview, what do you think about Serbian food?
Yeah, possibly this is a cultural shock. You can put it like cultural shock. So when I came here, my colleague Branislav, he took me to a Serbian restaurant. He recommended me to take what is called
Cevape.
Cevap. Yes, exactly. I haven't expected that. Absolutely, I didn't expect that. Some of dishes I really enjoy, like sarma. It's unusual. It's kind of what we have in Russia, golubцы, but it's something different. I totally enjoy pleskavica if someone joins me because I cannot eat it the complete thing because it's too big. You can find a lot of enjoyable things. It's full of meat. It's like meat-based thing. If you enjoy meat, that's fantastic thing.
What shocked you in Chivabi, this Chivabi case?
Actually, a lot of onions. I haven't expected that much. I tried to like fit in that you have to eat with all the onions there, and well, it didn't go well, to be honest. But then I was with understanding, okay, you have to be careful with this kind of dish, and then I became more selective and understand, okay, this one I can eat, this I should avoid, and so on.
What did you know about Serbia before your coming?
I visited Serbia 2 times before, so I knew something about the country. I knew that there is strange architecture, Soviet architecture, and strange monuments, and
These spomeniks.
so brutalism, examples of the architecture, and so on. I mainly was assuming that was stereotypical, that the cultural like background, something matching that what we have in Russia, and that was wrong. We don't have that matching that I expected. I guess that I got this idea in reverse order. When I started communicating with people, I understand that there is like stereotypical picture of Russian here. For me personally, and possibly some other guys, some specialists, we don't match this stereotypical picture of Russian because that was, I guess, and that is my assumption, mainly influenced by this, let's call it, previous wave of the immigration, massive wave that is called white immigration. And now, after more than 100 years, well, we're a bit different, possibly completely different to those people. That delta was quite obvious comparing to the stereotypical, picture of Russian from the white immigration, and we are different to those people. I met some guys who are like grandsons of those people who immigrated with this wave. That person was a grandson of someone from aristocracy. So that is particular roots that I guess we don't have at the moment in Russia. According to what I know, main contents of this current immigration wave is IT specialists, and we didn't have this kind of community at that moment. Like 100 years ago, it didn't exist because there was no IT, and those guys are really well educated. We got used to some level of salaries and style of life, and let's put it like middle class or something similar. We didn't have it in 1917. We just had some aristocracy, some guys who we call in Russian intelligentsia. We're mainly not in that aristocracy-based, intelligentsia-based class anymore. We're mainly in middle class. It's not like cultural thing, it's mainly professional thing. And that's difference in nature of current wave and the previous wave.
So you are spending a lot of time in Italy.
Yes, that's right.
How would you describe differences between life in Italy and between life here?
In Italy, you have to talk. Otherwise, it doesn't work. To understand how to get from point A to point B, you have to talk. It's not like you can rely on your applications and so on and so forth. You always have to talk. And then you can find out how it works or doesn't work. Here, it's not like that. In Italy, you're always like facing history all the time. You are kind of integrated with this oldest period of Sicily. And you can see, all the legends all around you, kind of living in half fairy tale thing. And here, it's more like post-Soviet period that is accelerating. And it's more dynamic situation here than you got in Italy. In Italy, it's more stable.
We are now in NTP. Could you tell me a bit about this very more modern building?
So this is mainly office buildings that I think was dedicated to accumulate some companies, some organizations that are dedicated to modern IT world and so on. There are several well-known companies working here, and our institute works here.
This concept of scientific / technological parks, so we had it in Russia, I remember. Do you like it? From scientific point of view, it's a good place to create innovations.
You can easily organize some events here and so on, and they are organized actually on a regular basis, including top level. Like recently, there were some guys from UK embassy, and there are much more. Just what I know, and you can meet with the guys, you can chat with the guys if they're interested in collaboration. I did it several times, so yeah, that's good idea. That's usually a good idea to have some like modern building when you can put a lot of companies and a lot of research organizations in one place, and they start doing the things in common. That works.
It's good for ideas, for new ideas to come.
Sure, yes. I think that these kind of approaches you can find all around the world. Possibly you heard about Bergström idea of this technological singularity, that progress is being accelerated and then it's accelerating. What I see, especially from the perspective of artificial intelligence, that science is getting closer to the industry. So you are getting some scientific research, and like in several years, 1-2 years, you are making the product of it. Or even faster than that. It's all accelerating, and especially in the domain of artificial intelligence, you can see a lot of influence over the industry that comes from science almost directly. Some papers published, and then you just take it in account, take it on board, and then you make it go in products and some services and so on and so forth. That is really important to understand, that the closer we put those guys, the faster you get the progress and more competitive you become. That's really important understanding, that you have to do the things quite quickly at the moment. And more than that, it's been accelerating. So it's not like the current level is forever. So you cannot just, like our parents, sit and relax with your knowledge that is like you got from the university. We know that we now live in like lifelong learning, and we have to learn.
Can you describe your scope of interests as a scientist?
Main focus of my research is what is called spiky neural networks. Imagine that you have nervous system, right? This is actually a neural network. Artificial neural networks that we have in AI, it's been inspired by biological neural networks starting from 40s and 50s of last century. And the research was based on the squid neurons, really big neurons. So the idea is that, okay, we have, like, let's say biological technology, biological spiky neural network inside our body. And it works, okay, nicely. Can we have a look at that one more time, or 10 times and so on, and get the inspiration from that, get the deeper understanding of those neural networks, and get them in our computational world, in our digital or non-digital world, and make it work better. Brain, like, is 2 liters, like that, right? So it's relatively small. And if you think of current computational capacity that you use, like NVIDIA, it's that big. It could be even bigger than the brain, and it consumes more energy. So according to our calculations, the technology that we use consumes 6 orders of magnitude, like 1,000,000 times more energy than we use in the brain.
Ooh.
So that's a big number. Why it's that big? Can we make the technology that works better from that perspective, more energy efficient? And do we have to build nuclear plants like some companies from US plan to build to support the AI? Or can we improve actually the technology and make it more energy efficient? So the idea is like that. Can we make different technology? And there are several approaches to do that. One of the approaches would be that we need new hardware. So this is main focus of my research. I'm trying to get this principle, this inspiration directly from neuroscience, and put that in the technology, in new type of the hardware that will be much more efficient than the current technologies.
when you finish your research, it will be a major breakthrough, basically.
Yeah, I hope so.
And do you have now some interest from big corporations to your work?
Not yet. I guess it's too early for them because they're usually interested in industrial prototypes, not laboratory prototypes.
Yeah.
They're getting to this understanding. You cannot just rely on video cards. You have to do something else. It's not just fixed like that. And more companies are, getting interest in that. But this is an ongoing process. It's not like they're putting billions of dollars in that at the moment. But the interest is growing.
Do you think there should be some restrictions in developing AI technology to make it more responsible, to make it more safe?
I am for that, to be honest. We have to understand what technology brings to us. We already have some negative impact on like deep fakes and so on. We have to have some regulations about that. And we have to understand how the technology influences our life, but I'm for responsible restrictions, not just, okay, let's prohibit everything. Let's understand what is the negative impact. Deep fakes, that's definitely negative, and there must be some regulations about deep fakes and so on, but carefully regulated, not just stop all the development, stop all this research. I don't think that's productive, that's counterproductive, but you have to understand, okay, this is negative impact, this is deep fake, the guys are doing wrong things, we have to stop that. From that perspective, I guess in Europe here, we have this kind of approaches and regulations that seems to be quite necessary.
You wanted to tell me regarding this cool experiment with your leg.
We had a startup. We collaborated with neurorehabilitation clinics. The idea was like that. Okay, we've been doing this work with the model of the spinal cord. So can we implement that in a real time? So can we make it work, this model of the spinal cord, like spiking neural network in the real time? And then we had that idea that, okay, why don't we connect that to some tissue, real muscles? We developed the stimulator, and we connected that stimulator with my leg. So I was in the neurorehabilitation clinics. I was in what is called body weight support system. And my leg, this right leg, was stimulated and managed by the spiking neural network that was working as if I don't have the spinal cord. So instead of my spinal cord, there was an electronic system that was managing my leg, and my leg started working in what is called walking pattern. So it was reproducing the walking pattern as if I'm having an injury and I'm trying to learn to walk again. At that moment, I had really strange feelings because, I'm a healthy person. I have healthy spinal cord, so I have the connection with the brain. So my brain was trying to restore the control over the leg, and I had a spasm, and it didn't work. But then I had to load my brain with mathematics, doing some mathematics, and then I could relax. And we finally got this result that my muscles start contracting, and I had reproduced this walking pattern.
Aren't you afraid when you're participating in such kind of experiments? Something might go wrong or something like this?
No, I wasn't afraid. I wanted to test that. Instead, I was willing to test that. I wanted to test this technology because we were working several years on that, and I wanted to test that. I wanted to, how do you test that? How does it feel? Actually, what is going on with your muscles? What is going on with your leg? Well, it could go wrong, but we were in clinic. I was under the control. So the experiment was under the control. It was under the protocol, safe protocol. And we used all the safety measures for sure. That is like Dr. House said, the safest place in the world is hospital. That was in the hospital. I wasn't afraid. No, I was trying to do that. I wanted to do that.
You are working in science related to AI and robotics. Do you see here in Serbia that Serbian culture somehow influences how people perceive AI and robotics?
I cannot say that it's like specific to the culture, but it's specific to people that works here. And as I said, there are some brilliant scientists who works in AI, especially in AI. So there is program of the government that supports AI, and that's really important because it's like in focus of modern research. There are really good guys who works with robotics. Comparing to Italy, it's more practical, and possibly that mainly cultural influence that guys are coming from the practical perspective rather than theoretical.
What fascinates you most in Serbia, intellectually or culturally?
Serbian students are really dynamic. Their brains are really dynamic, and it is really interesting to collaborate with them to talk about science, and they can see perspective. They are really flexible. I really enjoyed being involved in the conference that I mentioned. I really enjoyed being involved in some science pop events that I was involved. I always take the opportunity to talk to students.
By dynamic, you mean they're quickly to understand things, or they're changing rapidly?
They are like hungry for knowledge, hungry for new point of view. There are some progressive guys who are thinking like in future, and I enjoyed collaborating with them. There are some guys who are influencing and thinking about the society. It fascinates me a lot because people, they are thinking about how we can benefit the society. It's not just benefit themselves. They are thinking, how can we improve the situation in Serbia? How can we improve the situation in the country? That's fascinating. That's something that really matches how I think.